So the Players Association with the NBA just came out and said that they want to be owners now, not like some distant fantasy or some distant dream. They actually believe that they deserve to have a stake in the NBA, according to the director of the Players Association. So basically, what they're asking for is equity. The exact terms of what that will look like probably won't be fleshed out right immediately. It'll probably take a couple years to flesh it out. And the next Players Association collective bargaining agreement is in 2024. So there is some time for it to be fleshed out. But overall, this is actually a pretty interesting development. I'll let you address, how you feel about it first, and then we'll go on. I'll go on and give my feelings about it.
Exciting for the players that they have the power to even feel like they can ask for this. I mean, that just shows you how much the product really controls the money output in the NBA, right? The players are in control. We've seen James Harden force his way in a trade, and they're going to control and dictate where the league goes. That's going to be financially as well, I think. I don't think they're going to get everything that they're asking for, which may be a stake in the team, because it creates some competition and issues with whether there'll be cheating or whether there'll be some type of fraudulent activity, like a Pete Rose situation, or formerly the refs have cheated in the NBA. So that kind of comes up about this league has to protect against players having a stake in a team and then moving or adjusting wins to raise or fall that stake. So I think that's an issue.
So I am big on. I'm a big pro labor person, right? I believe that the more power that the laborer has, the more successful the company generally becomes. Even in the case of the NBA or maybe even individual teams, and there are a lot of reasons for that. But because just as an individual, from a human perspective, when you are personally invested into the success of something, like your growth or success is proportionate to the growth and success of that company,
yes,
based off of what you put into it,
I agree.
Then you are way more likely to go above and beyond. Now, this is my full-time job because my full-time future depends on it. And so with the NBA, what I imagine it will go like is this. And I think it would actually be beneficial to the NBA, especially small market teams. So if I am a major, like say if I'm Giannis, right? And I think that you should only be able to own stock in the team that you are playing for. And I think that you have to have a certain amount of years on your contract to own stock.
Exactly.
And now if I'm the NBA, I can say, okay, cool. However, if you are a max player who owns stock in the team, if you choose to engage in that, you now cannot request a trade. The team wants to trade you.
Mm-hmm. That's something else.
I would say no. I would even say that's not something else, right?
Because you're an owner.
Because I'm a part owner. So now it's a 3-year lock-in minimum.
Okay.
The small market team gets to make sure you stay now.
Sure.
You're more invested in the personal success of that team. Mm-hmm. The team is going to collaborate with you more because they understand that, well, one, like it makes the team overall a lot better whenever you can have multi-millionaire, which obviously these players are making like $220,000 now, or $220 million with the max contract. So they have money to invest.
Right.
And then the bigger players have the endorsement money to invest on top of that. So now you're working and collaborating because like I need that money for this team to be able to do what it can do,
right?
And I want to keep you happy because I don't want to be in a bad situation over the next 3 years. And so now I think that you're going to begin to see, if this does go through, you're going to begin to see team loyalty again. Because it's one thing when I can get my money everywhere else.
Right.
It's another thing entirely when I've been getting my money here and winning for the most part. And so you're more incentivized to stay even if you're going through a dry spell.
Yeah, that's possible. What we've seen recently in the league with the way it's structured now is that the players are valuing the freedom over the loyalty. I agree with your point that
but it's a freedom to get money.
Right. It's a freedom to
where you want to
maximize my earnings. That's the main thing. So if there is a way to address that and keep, draft picks incentivized in order to stay for the small market teams, that kind of thing. Like, okay, if you're drafted by a team, now that opens new doors even to how you're able to be part of the
whole organization.
Yeah, the entire organization, your equity stake in the team, because we see you as a top 10 pick. right? Or if you have, a top player, one of the max contracts clauses is associated with staking the team. That's gonna be big in terms of drawing for all of the teams now, because now Sacramento has you can be an owner in this team, where you couldn't be over there. So I think they would have to do it in order to kind of create parity. I think they would have to limit how often.
How often what?
You would have a max player be able to have more incentives in the stake of the team, and then the rest of the players get their equity in a in a balanced way. Because what do you think? It's proportionate to their salary, or are we going to suggest that a star brings more to the team, so therefore they're earning more for the team, so their stake should be more? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the balance for that in the league would then have to be, okay, you can only do that for one player.
I think it'll be kind of similar to the cap, right? So like you have a max cap of player equity that can
be allocated,
and so and then of course, obviously the person who wants to, and you're gonna have to bid. You're gonna have to outbid each other, and it's gonna be based on when you get to the team and all kinds of different shit, like how it is now, right? Like the team could want somebody, but if they can't pay him because of something they did 2 years ago, then that's just how the cookie crumbles. But I agree. I think that's actually a brilliant idea. I think that also what has to be observed is the implication that this has on the rest of the sports world. Right now, so we see NCAA players, they are now allowed to get paid. That took one domino in California for that guy popping. Now you see, LeBron was already talking about, him and Steph Curry were talking about putting together a group to own after they got out of the NBA. So they were already talking about doing some billionaire shit, right? Yeah. So it was coming, I think. So now, in my opinion, I feel like this is the league getting out ahead of it. Because
you'd rather create parity than have a billion-dollar conglomerate of Curry with LeBron with anyone else that he wants.
World. Yeah. Cristiano comes in.
When you're associated with a team, it becomes a little bit
exactly different. So as far as the rest of the teams in the in other sports, or excuse me, the rest of the sports or in the sports world concerned, I feel like this is like the NBA flexing on them again. Like if this actually goes through.
Silver again.
It's Adam Silver. It's like LeBron and Chris Paul being smarter than everybody else. And Dinwiddie, gotta give a shout out to Dinwiddie because he's the first one who really talked about investing in himself and his own growth
and being publicly traded.
But the NFL
publicly traded, but
the NFL is damn near. It feels like it's a slave auction half the time. You know what I'm saying? They pay a little bit better than that, but you can be cut at any given moment most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantees like in the NBA where they have completely guaranteed contracts. In the NBA. With the NFL, it's just how long you stick around in appearances.
And some
of
them are very few.
Quarterbacks, the top players.
Yeah, it is.
And
maybe 10,
guarantees.
15. Yeah, it's not even all 100%.
The money.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even all the money. It's never 100% guaranteed. So in baseball, the best players once again they get paid and they get all their money up front. But I'm gonna be here for 10 years. You see some of these contracts in baseball.
Yeah.
I could only earn this amount of money here. Ever. No matter how well I do.
Can't maximize it.
I can't maximize it. Now, if I invest in the equity of the company, if I do well, I'm getting more money.
The team can grow.
But now if I start playing like trash, now the team losing money. So now because that's the part that nobody's talking about. Now if they're losing money, I can start losing
so
money.
I cannot lose.
So I can't lose.
Nope.
So you get a more competitive, overall you get a more competitive
money goes to the winners. But that happens in every sport.
I think that having that investment is a great thing overall. I think because I think that everybody who watched the NBA can kind of see they're acting like everything is hunky dory. But right now there is definitely a struggle between owners wanting to maintain their power and influence, and like the paternal power and influence, and players basically saying fuck that. Like they're like, nah. We run the show, y'all need to understand this.
Yeah,
y'all need to understand this. Like we are running it now. Y'all are footing the bill, but it's only because y'all need the money too. Y'all need the money just as bad as we do. You want the money just as bad as we do. You want us to play well just as bad as we do. But we're the ones who got to play well for you to get anything you want.
Yep.
And once you're in that type of position in the real world of the economy, that gives you leverage, and you take advantage of it.
Where is the owner's leverage in this situation? Truly,
none, in my opinion.
So
none.
There you go.
They don't have it.
So I think concessions will be made, and in the CBA of 2024, there's going to be major changes to allow the players' equity in the teams.
And when you get players who
and that may have been why Giannis extended.
Huh?
That may have been why Giannis extended. That may have been why he said, "Oh, I want to be part of the Milwaukee Bucks," because he sees it as a team that can rise. So now he's maximizing even more value for himself versus going to the Lakers, and they're going to be what they are now. How much can LeBron really?
So I was gonna say, what about now I can in my contract, so I can say you're gonna get a max deal plus we'll match you in equity if you choose to invest.
Exactly. Right.
So now, so like obviously the big market teams have an advantage there, but y'all still got a salary cap that y'all can't go over. So it's not like you can go get all the players. And now, if I'm a max player, and I'm
available to all the teams that have that as negotiating.
So say I'm a max player, right? Say AD and LeBron didn't get along that well, and this is post, so now they have the equity thing, and LeBron has taken up, because of being LeBron, 5% of the total 10% of available equity in the Lakers franchise for players.
Okay.
But I wanted 3%. But I can't do that because all these other players want their piece too.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a position to be like, well, hold up. How much more can I possibly earn from Lakers? What if I go to this team who already has the right pieces? They want to offer me 5%, like the Lakers got 5% from LeBron, and I know that this player doesn't really care about equity. That's not what they're worried about. You know what I'm saying?
This is very complex negotiating tactics.
I love it.
Very complex things to think about, and I think that only the top business-minded players are going to be even worried about it. I think that the agents are going to control the majority of all of the equity stake talked about in the contract going forward. But that's the same as it is now. The top players, LeBron, KD, James Harden, when they're faced with this kind of stuff, and whoever is the next class, it's going to be, man, how can you turn down an offer that says, okay, if you re-sign as a rookie to come back here and we give you 5% equity stake in the team as well, as part of a negotiating tactic to keep our players.
I just feel like,
but I feel like there has to be a limit, rules on it.
It opens up, obviously gives players way more freedom of movement. It now makes them a little bit more accountable than they are right now. Right? What we saw with Kyrie, like, that is insane, but it's because of the amount of power that players have in the league. Because what are you going to do? You can't.
There's still CEOs that just go on vacation, bro. Like, it would be just like that. That's how
they tell one person.
That's how
everybody will figure out from that one person. So
I told my secretary,
But now, if I have a conversation, or if I have once again a vested interest in the success of this team, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, I can't be missing games because we start losing money, and we start like it's shit roll downhill.
Of course. I don't think the Nets have lost any money from Kyrie playing there.
But I'm just saying, like, but everybody is at the Brooklyn Nets than the biggest market in the world,
right?
So yeah, so love to know what y'all think about this, man. Like this video, share this video, leave a comment below. Do you think this is a great thing for the NBA, or do you think it could potentially hurt the NBA?
Excited for NBA.
I'm happy for the NBA. I think it's great. Workers should always win because the owners are just extorting you for your money. Peace.